Welcome to House Talk with Farlow, and happy Father's Day, by the way, to all of you fathers that are out there. This show is about real estate advice from me, Jeremy Farlow, managing broker at Farlow Real Estate Experts in Quincy, Illinois, where we discuss general help and ideas for anything related to real estate buying, selling, staying, investing, and there's even some opportunities to win some prizes. I need to throw out a quick disclaimer since I am a licensed managing broker here in Illinois. The information contained in this program is intended for informational purposes. It should not substitute as legal, accounting, investment, medical, or other professional services advice. Always seek a competent professional for answers for your specific questions. And while this program is not intended to solicit real estate properties currently for sale, I'd absolutely to help you if you don't have your home for sale now, or even if you're looking for some properties, whether to buy for yourself or even as investment properties. All right, so now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about this show. By the way, shoot me an email if you want a copy of my monthly newsletter. We'll go over some things that are in there here in a little bit. My email address is jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. And again, it's just the initials to my name, jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. You know, one of the many reasons that I've put together and tried to bring you this program is just because I really do have a teacher's heart. After more than a decade of investing, buying, selling, investing, fixing, and everything there is to do about real estate, there probably isn't anything that I haven't seen yet. And honestly, this is just a chance for me to share those experiences with you, and hopefully in a fun and entertaining way. Every week I go through a couple of different sections. I've got some market updates, some industry trends we'll take a look at. I always have a hilarious real estate goof, some home improvement tips, some questions from the listeners, and as we have time, some cool Quincy real estate myths or legends, kind of a did you know section. And it's a lot of fun for me to put this together, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's jump into the first section here. Let's take a look at some of the market updates, the industry trends that are going on. Did you know that they actually pick a color that you should be painting in your house every year? In fact, PPG, it's a paint firm, and PPG stands for Pittsburgh Paint Glass Company, released its early picks for inspiring hues for 2020. If the predictions are right, it's going to be a great year for me. What's your favorite color? If you said blue, it's going to be a great year for you too. There should be a lot more blue in our home decor next year, and I'm excited about this, I'll be honest, because I see an awful lot of houses, and for years and years, the theme has been gray. And while gray has its place, and gray can be pretty, gray just seems so cool and unwelcoming, more commercially to me. For whatever reason, though, somebody who got to pick colors picked gray, and that's the way all the houses went. But now it's blue, and in fact, the color of the year is Chinese porcelain, right? Like sunset blue, sunrise blue. I mean, there's no way you can figure out what Chinese porcelain is unless you Google it, but I have it here. Chinese porcelain is a blend of cobalt, okay, well, you gotta know what cobalt is, mixed with some muted navy tones, intended to instill calmness and restful sleep. So anyway, the blue is back, and that's going to be replacing all of the grays. Now, is your house gray already? Do you need to go paint it blue immediately? No, I wouldn't worry about that. But it is a really pretty color. And if you are going to be thinking about painting different colors in your house, I've got a yellow bedroom that I'm probably going to paint Chinese porcelain, just so that way when people come over, I can say, hey, do you have any idea what color this is? And they'll be like, blue? I say, well, you're close. How about porcelain? Chinese specifically. Anyway, it goes on, talks about different complementary colors that you can throw in there with it. But I thought it'd be interesting to talk a little bit about colors, because a lot of times people don't think much about the colors that they put and where they place them, and that they matter or that they mean anything. And in fact, I don't know if you knew this, but there's an entire science behind colors. And there are reasons when you go down the street and you see logos, why they're designed the way that they're designed. And let's just take black, for example. Black is best for construction, corporate, financial, fashion, manufacturing, cosmetics, marketing, those kinds of things. It's kind of it's a very bold, strong, it's a strong color, I guess is what it is, but that's why you'll see that on different places. Think about McDonald's or Wendy's, even Fazoli's or Burger King. What kind of colors do you see there? Lots of reds and yellows, right? Well, let's take a look at red. What do they say red's good for? It's good for hungry, exciting, dangerous, of course romantic, we think of Valentine's Day, right? Warm, fast, and it's best for food, clothing, fashion, etc. And we know that because we see it all over the place. And yellow, what is it? Qualities are energy, drive, dynamic, encouraging, designs, youth, innovation, invention, bright, positive. And again, that one's best for children, food and drink. And the orange, that's another one that we see all the time on restaurants like that. And again, it's good for food and drink, and it's usually creative, dynamic, energetic. And what about blue? Well, that's the one we just looked at, and that's generally for calming. So if you have a room that you need to be a little bit more calm, yellow is not the right color for you, because yellow is a good energy color. Blue is the color you want. Blue is calm. And there are lots of colors. We could go on and talk about all the different colors that are here. Purple is kind of a fun one. It's good for body, mind, and soul. It's another kind of calming color. So when you're thinking about where to paint in your house and what colors to use, if you have a kid that needs calmed down, maybe you should paint his room blue, or her room maybe pink, and we didn't even cover that, instead of race car red, right? So anyway, everything matters. And if you want more information on that, or again, like if you want to see the newsletter, I'd be happy to send that to you. My email address is jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. The goof I've got this week is a pretty funny one, and it's been around a long time. In fact, my dad tells a story very similar to this one, but we'll take a look at this. 10 feet of trim in a 9-foot car. On my way to work one day, I stopped at my local home center to buy trim for my daughter's bedroom. I folded down the back seat in my car and ran the pieces of trim through the trunk, resting the front ends on the dashboard. Okay, you can imagine he's got long trim and he's got it, he's paying attention to everything, and he's got it resting all the way there. He's got it as far in as he possibly can, and it probably looks like it even fits with it. Well, he slammed the trunk shut, then recoiled in horror at the sound of breaking glass. The trim was too long for the car, and the slamming trunk acted like a battering ram, shoving the trim through the windshield. My little trim project suddenly got a lot more expensive, and my car was impossible to drive with the shattered windshield. It reminds me, my dad tells a story when he and his brothers and his dad were loading fence posts in the back of their pickup truck, and they were sliding them, and that works fine as long as you've got metal and you're sliding it, but eventually one more post was a little bit higher than the back of the pickup bed, and when he slid it, and thankfully it was Grandpa, it was my dad's dad that slid it, it went right through the back window. And everybody just sat there in silence. So this has been going on a long time. This guy wasn't the first person to figure out that long boards don't fit in short little cars, that windows do break just from wood. So I hope you enjoyed the real estate humor. Let's take a look at some home improvement tips. A lot of times I get into houses and people have spent a lot of time fixing them, or they're asking, hey, what should I do? And this is going to be kind of a common topic that we cover because it's on the top of everybody's mind, it seems. A lot of times people will come to me and they'll say, oh, look, we did this, we did that, and how much value does this add? Well, there is a big difference between maintenance and improvement, right? So you scraped and painted your deck last year. Well, when you sold it, it had been scraped and painted. right? You're not adding value necessarily, you're just maintaining it. And so there's no increase in value just from maintenance. And that's something that's really important to keep track of and to think about when you're going through it. If you are looking, though, to increase its value, the most valuable improvements, in fact, 9 out of 10 of the best returning jobs nationwide, involve the exterior of the home. And this is from Remodeling Magazine. They release a cost versus value report every year. And that's where they came up with these 22 home improvement projects and their 2019 report. 9 out of 10 of the best returning jobs nationwide involved the exterior of the home. So what were those best performing projects? And again, if you ever want a list of these, or if you have questions on what I'm talking about, feel free to shoot me an email, jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. But the very best performing project was replacing the garage door. And that might be kind of surprising, right? I wouldn't expect that, but you replace the garage door and I just think that's something that I pull up to, and when I push the button, it's open. And when I get inside, I close it. I don't really even think about it. And that's probably why this bumps it, because when somebody does think about it, when they do replace the one that I pull into as an example, I think that the owners before me, that their kids must have used it for tennis practice, or else a hailstorm came in sideways. I'm not sure. But I'm sure if I go to sell it someday, that would probably be a good thing to replace. And according to this, it returned an average of 97.5%. That's pretty good, right? The average cost was $3,600. The average gain in home value was $3,500. That's pretty good. So if you're looking to do something to your house, that's probably the place you want to go. Start there first. If your garage door could use some improvement. If it's already amazing, don't just replace it because you heard me say you get 97% of your money back from this report. The second one was adding a manufactured stone veneer. Okay, you're dressing it up, you're jazzing it up. The stone looks more expensive, it looks nicer. And we're down now from 97.5 down to 94.9. Let's just call it 95%. The average cost was $8,900. The average increase in home value was $8,400. And anyway, I mean, there's so much that goes into figuring out what these specific percentages are and comparing the homes the way that they are. Unless you've got 3 of the same one on the same block and 2 of them did it and 1 of them didn't, it's probably pretty hard to get these numbers exact. But nonetheless, this is what they're reporting. The only interior remodeling job in the top 10 was a minor kitchen remodel in a mid-range home. That averaged 80%. So after costing $22,000, increased the value about 18. So anyway, if you're looking kind of a mid-range modeling redo, that's something to consider. Another kind of crazy one is painting your front door. Zillow, if you have ever looked for a house or if you've been on the internet, you've seen Zillow. Zillow is the Goliath right now in home searches, and they did a paint color analysis. They found through their little algorithm reporting that a black front door increased the sales price of a typical U.S. home by 2.9%. Hey, if you only have a $100,000 house, could you really get $2,900 for painting it? Might be worth a bucket of paint if you're a good painter. So anyway, those are some of the fun things to take a look at if you're considering working on your house and doing some home improvements. Is front garage or your garage door, stone veneer on your exterior, and then maybe a minor kitchen remodel. All right, well, let's take a look at some of the questions that I'm getting from listeners. One of them is specifically about property management. A lot of times people hear that a lot of the wealthy people have made their fortunes in real estate. Well, how did they do it? It's simple, right? Just like in stocks, you buy low, you sell high. Yeah, well, if it was that simple, then everybody would be doing it, right? There's a lot of headache, there's a lot of work that goes into it, but there are very few things that are easy money. Everything takes a little bit of effort. Property management, though, is one of those things that can make investing in property even a little bit better. As we think about how everything can be, it sounds so easy from the outside, it reminds me. Um, I used to be a designer, and I used to work at John Deere. And as I got my projects done, one of the other guys in the group, he was behind in his projects, or maybe it just wasn't level loaded, and he asked if I could take over the wheels and tires. Well, how hard, honestly, can wheels and tires be, right? I mean, they're round, and you just stick them on there, so they can't be that hard. Well, what I found out really quickly is there's a lot more that goes into something than what you first think. You have to, you pay attention to the attitude of the tractor. Is this thing doing a wheelie, or is it tipped up way hard in the back? When it's four-wheel drive, do the front tires pull on the rear tires push the front tires? And then different turf tires versus agricultural tires versus rice field tires. It just can get really, really complicated. And so a lot of times I think people feel the same way about anything. It's kind of the difference between major and minor surgery, right? What's the difference if it's the same surgery? Minor surgery is if it's on you. Major is if it's on me. And that's the way it is with property management and investing in real estate. It looks really easy from the outside. How hard can it be? You just get a tenant. You stick them in there. You collect a check every month. Piece of cake, right? Your home goes up in value. You sell it. This is so easy, right? Wrong, right? There is a lot of stuff that goes into the property management side of the business. Consequently, in our office there at Farlow Real Estate Experts, we've added the property management back into it, and we've done it many, many times over the years. And in fact, that's how I originally got started in real estate, was through property management. I had my own, and then somebody asked me to manage theirs. And that's ultimately how I ended up getting my license, was just to be able to help other people manage their properties. And so I've been doing it for quite a few years. For me, it's been since 2002. Today, that's 17 years that I've been doing it. So I've got a lot of experience in it, and I know what goes well and what doesn't go well. One of the things that we're offering, and I can't go into all the details covering it on the air, so it's on our website, or you can give us a call or shoot me an email, jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. We're offering up to 2 months guaranteed rent, right? We want to help you maximize your investments and kind of reverse the risk a little bit, because we think we do an amazing job. So that's something you might want to consider, is put some of your money into real estate. And if you do it yourself, great. It's kind of like a for sale by owner, or you can hire a property manager. So let's take a look here at some of the things that happen with a property manager, or some of the things you should be considering. First, take the job of hiring a property management team very seriously. Okay? You're going to be putting in the money to purchase this property. The right property management company is going to make it really amazing, or they're going to make it a terrible experience. Do you need somebody who's always paying attention to your property and maintaining it, make sure it's fixed? Do you need somebody who's actually collecting the rents regularly, and making sure that you're getting paid when you're supposed to, so that you can pay the mortgage and keep things going, and so that your property is actually worth something later? Yeah, all of those things are important. And there is a huge difference in property management companies and in property managers, just like there's a huge difference in insurance salesmen or realtors or bankers or lawn mowing companies or plumbers or teachers, right? There's a huge difference in every profession that's out there. And so there are a number of things you should pay attention to. One of the things that I would really encourage, though, too, when you're looking for a property management company and you've made your decision because you've interviewed them and you feel comfortable based on their track record and all that they're doing for you, don't try to micromanage them. Okay? If you're constantly in there trying to do those things, it's going to end up costing you more money. I'll never forget, over the years we've worked with several different investors, several different landlords, and at one point, we were working on a $500 a month apartment, and we had it painted. The landlord wanted to see how it looked, and it looked great. Like, it was great. For a $500 a month apartment, it looked great. The paint job would look good in any house, unless you wanted to make sure that all of the nail holes were covered, and you took a light and you shined it down the length of the wall and looking for any minor imperfections. Well, this landlord did that. On a $500 a month apartment, we were in and out for about $500, fixing everything, cleaning carpets, doing all that kind of stuff. Several thousands of dollars later, the walls in that house were amazing. Amazing, right? But he was micromanaging. He was getting in there, and bless his heart, he was trying to do the best that he could, and that was his standard for his house. But again, if you've done your due diligence and you've hired a good property management company, you need to trust them. And it's fine to check in with them and to follow up and those kinds of things, but you need to trust them, or else it's going to cost you a lot more. You need to make sure you're on the same page about communication. Some companies use email while others use texts or snail mail. You need to be clear about which team member that you're going to hear from, who's handling the situation for you, and then follow up with them. And if they're a good company, they're going to follow up with you, I'll be honest, in the way that you want to be communicated with. And, but you just need to make sure you're on the same page with communication. I would say don't be too impressed by flashy software. Okay? We've all got smartphones, and there's a ton of stuff that our phones can do that most of us have no idea. Okay? Same thing with the software. Sure, there can be so many bells and whistles and all that other stuff, and it can be really pretty, and you can be really excited about how pretty it looks. What do you care about? I think as an investor, is my property being taken care of the way that I would want it taken care of, the way I would take care of it, and are you getting your rent? Is this a good investment for you? Are you actually making money at it? Those two things, I think, are the most important. Then if you have both of those with a property management company, okay, fine, then pick the flashiest software, whichever one looks the prettiest to you. Hey, maybe you like blue, or maybe you like black, right? Choose which one you like, or whichever one there. This is really important. Okay, so you've hired a property management company. These guys, these gals, they do it all day, every day. They really, really, really want you to be successful. And part of what it's going to take to be successful is getting tenants in there, getting it rented so that they can collect the rent for you, okay? In order to do that, in order to get the best tenants that can be had, there are going to be things about the unit or your property that need to be fixed. So do take care of the things that they ask you to fix. And again, this is kind of a long list. If this is a list that you're interested in, just shoot me an email, jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. Another thing to be considering when you're doing property management, don't be greedy with the pricing. Okay, if you've got a $500 rental property that's out there and you're asking $600, that thing sits empty 1 month and you've blown 5 months already of that extra profit that you would have had, right? Just 1 month, or 6 months, I guess, if I did my math right. So it's not worth it. Don't get greedy. Pay attention. You're hiring an expert. Rely on your expert to give you the right price. Again, most of these property management companies get paid as a percentage. They want as much rent coming in as possible, and they're going to get the best prices that they can for you, and they want to look really good to you. They want you to tell a bunch of other people and all your friends, hey, you should invest in real estate, and you should get these guys to manage for you. You also need to make sure your account numbers are right. A lot of times property managers will ACH or automatically deposit your rents. Make sure that those are right. Keep current with it. If you make changes, you need to be communicating all of that. A biggie that I see a lot of new owners falling into, they read a really cool book, And they're so excited, and they can't wait to buy their very first property. And they're just chomping at the bit to get out there and do it. And the money is burning a hole in their pocket. They got to go out there. Don't fall prey to the allure of the first property. Hey, it's possible that the first one that you're looking at is a winner. Sometimes, though, I've seen people just force it. And when you force a property and you say, hey, my numbers are, and I need a 10% cap rate, and you're like, wow, this one's 8. I think I can make it work. Or, maybe with appreciation or something, and you start bending your criteria in order to fit the property, that's probably not the best fit for you. If you have criteria, keep to your guns, right? Figure it out and stay there. Make sure you get all the paperwork back and forth in a timely manner. That's really important. We can't do our jobs unless we're hired by you or unless we have the right paperwork by you. And that's going to delay when you're going to be able to get things rented or how quickly you're going to be able to get repairs made, which consequently will determine whether the tenant will stay and wait around for the repairs to be made or even if we'll be able to get it re-rented. And then if you do decide to go the investment property route, don't forget how crucial a property management team is to your success. Absolutely paramount, right? Sure, you might be able to manage the first 10 or 20 units that you buy, and you might be going crazy doing it, or maybe you just want to get 1 or 2, but make that a part of the numbers that you run. Build that fee into it, because you're going to be able to grow faster, better, with less stress if you get a good property management team on your side. So anyway, good question. I appreciate the question about the property management. I hope that was able to answer all of it. I've got something that I find is absolutely fascinating about Quincy, and this is probably more I have heard. I believe it to be true, or I wouldn't be sharing it. And if you know more details about it, of course, feel free to email me at jfarlow@farlowrealty.com. I think one of the most beautiful historic homes, and just like a jaw-dropper, gorgeous from the outside, is at 2184 Main. It's right there at where 22nd tees into Main Street. You know it. Everybody has seen it. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous house. It's 7,500 square feet. And it's beautiful from the outside. Just to the west of it, toward the river, at 2174 Main, is another house, and there are a lot of similarities in the way that it looks. And it's about 4,300 square feet. As I have heard, 2174 used to be the guest house to 2184 Main. Can you imagine having a 7,500 square foot house sitting on an acre? And then you have a guest house of 4,300 square feet. That is amazing. And from the way that they look on the outside, I believe the architecture is similar. It makes sense to me. Like, it's a believable, plausible, I guess, the way the Mythbusters say. It's a very plausible, very believable story. But it even gets better. So if you got 2184, 7,500, and then you've got 4,300 right beside it, just a guest house. Behind it, as the myth goes, or the stories go, is 2137 Jersey. 2137 Jersey has got a massive carriage house. That carriage house, as I understand it, is supposed to have gone with, at one point, 2184 Main. The 7,500 square foot house had that carriage house. And then connected to that carriage house, the 2137 Jersey, I understood was the Help house. So that's where the Help for those 2 big houses stayed. And 2137 Jersey is an amazing house. In fact, it's on the market now. So if you go onto our website, farlowrealestateexperts.com, and look for 2137 Jersey, you'll be able to pull it up and you can look at some of the pictures on the inside. It's absolutely gorgeous. But isn't that an amazing story? 2184 Main, 7,500 square feet. 2174 Main, 4,300 square feet. Side by side, main house, guest house, a house for Help that's 2,600 square feet with a massive carriage house. So anyway, I hope you found that really interesting. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. But look forward to sharing with you again. jfarlow@farlowrealty.com.